Welcome to the GrowthShifters Podcast, where we talk to trailblazers who have shifted their perspective to grow their business and themselves. We've been planning this conversation for a few weeks, and when we booked the day for recording, it felt like a long way away, but I'm so excited to have Nikita on the show today. And I'm sure we're going to touch on a lot of things, but we're going to be talking about neuroplasticity. And so just a little bit about Nikita before I introduce her. After studying sociology in university, her passion for people led her to doula work. With over 7 years of experience as a birth and postpartum doula, she brings a deep understanding of human connection, emotional healing, and the support to ease the transition to motherhood. As a certified hypnotherapist, Nikita specializes in supporting women navigating postpartum anxiety and helping couples restore intimacy and connection after childbirth. Her work is rooted in compassion, evidence-based practice, and a lifelong passion for service. She is also a dedicated wife committed to both clients' growth and building and nurturing family of her own. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here as well. And, I feel like there's many sort of entry points that we can have into the conversation, but I was wondering if you could walk us through how you decided that you wanted to be a doula, because I mean being a doula is growing in popularity, but
Yes.
it's not exactly a conventional step, career step. So I'm interested in how that came about.
It took me a while, honestly, to get to wanting to be a doula. Like when I was planning my transition from high school to university, I actually wanted to become a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
And back to that service point of my life, right? And I thought maybe I want to become an addictions counselor. And I volunteered at an addiction center and it was great, but it just didn't feel like it was the right fit. And I think that my love for babies
Yeah.
and just, like being around babies all the time, I wanted to know if there was a path for me to actually make money and
Mm-hmm.
get to hang out with cute babies, right? So that was really it. I was like, how do I like hang out with cute babies? How do I make money? And then I got into like some nanny work.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in like daycares before and I've done au pairing overseas. And so I was doing the nanny work for a little bit and I realized, like I'm still not doing like what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friend actually at the time suggested doula work. And I didn't know anything about it. I only thought that doula work was for birth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a little nervous because birth is so unpredictable, or, like that's what I thought. It was so unpredictable. It's so dangerous,
Right.
right? And like we don't know what's going to happen. And I was really like I was much younger. It took me about 2 years to actually become a doula and take the training, which is a very short training, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when I got into this doula world, I started making connections with other people in my community. And when I started working with families, I realized that, of course, I love the babies, but the babies don't really need so much, right?
Yeah.
They don't, they eat, they sleep, they poop, repeat, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And and I realized that the emphasis of my care was really like the mothers
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of these women in my community that perhaps didn't have family around, that had family overseas, or whatever the situation was, and they were struggling
Mm-hmm.
with this transition into motherhood, into parenthood. And it's so unfamiliar to them. And, depending on where you are in your life, you either have friends that are on the same path as you or friends that are a little bit ahead, a little behind, and you're kind of in the middle, right? And you don't know, it's almost taboo to talk about your mental health.
It's
It,
true. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you feel like nobody wants to hear this. So I should hold it within me and I should get through this by myself. And that's not how it should be, because we're actually supposed to be in community. We're actually supposed to be able to trust our community around us enough to give them our baby and then be like, okay, I'm going to go take a shower, or I'm going to go and eat some food, or, go for a walk, or whatever it is to help them transition into this better. But the stark difference is that you're now alone
Mm-hmm.
with a baby that is
Yeah.
crying, that you don't know how to console, that you don't know what they need, and you have to go through a list of different, you know, different like options of, are they hungry? Are they sleepy? Are they tired? Do they have a dirty diaper? Like, I don't know. I have to go through this whole thing. And so when I became a doula, I was like, oh my gosh, like we need to like help these women. We need to teach them these things. We need to show them it's okay to be nervous, because they're learning at the same time as their baby. As much as you are helping these women, like there's these dads too that are also feeling a little bit left out, right? And they're also feeling like the postpartum depression or mood disorders, right? Because in their eyes, the men are the protectors, right? And I always say to my families, the men should feed into the wife and the wife feeds the baby,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's how it is, right? She needs you to be the rock so she can handle the baby. And I think that from social media, from movies, from TV shows, people don't realize like, oh, like there's more that I can do than just feed the baby.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this transition from now doula work to hypnotherapy to coaching to tapping is going to help a lot more people and allow them to feel like this is all normal.
Yeah. So that actually feeds into my next question is how how that step to including hypnotherapy and tapping and that just opens the whole topic of neuroplasticity, which I'm so excited to dig
Sure.
into. And just like how that, I was going to just say like how that serves your clients, but like it's also
Yeah.
for you as well, and how
Oh,
that's been,
100%.
yeah, how that's been serving you.
1000%. I think that I've always been so interested in the brain and how we can change so much with our mindset, with our actions, with our words, with our expectations. And so, how I got into hypnotherapy was COVID happened. It was such a life-changing moment for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And like many people, I struggled with my mental health, right?
Yeah.
It was eye-opening for me because at that same time I was also losing someone really close to me, and I was losing them to cancer. And in my world, I don't have that many close people, like family wise. And she was my aunt, she was my godmother, she
Mm-hmm.
was one of my bestest friends. And her loss really put a lot of things into perspective for me, right? And so I realized things have to change, because I can't be sad, I can't be depressed, I can't be this, how do I say, broken version of myself, because I have to keep living. I have to
Mm-hmm.
keep living for her, I have to keep living for myself, and I have to take this opportunity to live to the fullest, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's all part of having a growth mindset. There's obviously a fixed mindset and a growth
Yeah.
mindset. And a lot of people are very comfortable in the fixed mindset. And we see that with generations in the past, like obviously like staying with your job for 40 years, or,
Right.
you know, relationships where you're like, oh, I really want to divorce this person. And but my dad told me that it's good to keep our family together. So I'm just going to stay with them forever. That leads to so many different ailments that we never really connected. before. And now it's
Mm-hmm.
starting to connect now. It's starting to come together. The pieces are forming, and we're realizing that our emotions and the things that we hold tight and we keep close actually manifest into reality.
Like, how do you keep living? How do you keep going while still feeling what you need to feel and processing what you need to process, but like not letting it, at least as much as possible, not letting that just like get you dragged down and like bogged down into depression, or, bogged down into these states where you just can't function at work.
That is a huge topic. And I think that I was asking those same questions.
Yeah.
What I'd like to say to start is when you do go through those life-changing moments, you have to experience the emotion and feel it
Mm-hmm.
and live in it and bask in it and, you know, sit in it. And that's one of the hardest things because there's really like three options, right? You sit in the emotion,
Mm-hmm.
you you desensitize yourself or you numb yourself from the emotion. Or the final is you move forward. And a lot of people love to do the numbing.
Mm-hmm.
I was there too, totally
Yep.
was there.
Me
A
too.
lot of people love to sit in the emotion and just say, this is how I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're seeing a lot of people say, I'm ready to move on,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, how do we get there? I think that for me, the story starts so much sooner, like than 2020. I think I
Mm-hmm.
struggled with my mental health for a very long time. And there are days that I still do struggle, but it doesn't consume me anymore. It doesn't, you know, cloak me and I'm just stuck in it. I understand that like now with tools that I have, with the experience that I have, that I'm able to, for example, tap, or I'm able to, you know, journal, meditate, go on a walk, right? Move my body. And that's something that's huge.
Yeah.
Moving your body that we don't realize is going to shift us, not just for our body, not just for our soul, but like our mental health too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so hard when you're in that like hole and you're like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit on my couch. I just want to lay in my bed. I just want to
Yeah.
order food. I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to shower, right? It's comfort. It's comfort. And because it's so comfortable, it's hard to get out of it,
Yes. Yes.
right? And I think that the ultimate decision that you make is to decide, do I stay like this forever or do I take this opportunity of this beautiful life that I've been given and live it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think there was the Drake song that once said, not everybody, everybody lives. Oh, sorry. No, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And sorry to quote Drake, but but it's the truth, right? And it's like we all do. There's a distinctness of your choices of existing or living, right? And you can see who's existing and you can see who's living.
Yeah.
And I think it's you have to choose whether that's going to be you existing or you living.
And so, how do you help people make that choice and take those initial steps? First of all, how do you get to the start line, and how do you get those first few steps past it without feeling too overwhelmed to continue, or just feeling like you're just going to nope out and like, nope, nope. I'm just going to go back to my couch and in my case it was candy. It's like I'm just going to go back to the
Yeah.
couch and the candy and not do the work. How do you do that?
Yeah, great question. I think that um, it's the willingness to keep trying, the
Mhm.
willingness to do better for yourself, because healing is not about anyone else. It's not about doing it for your family. It's not about doing it for your coworkers. It's not about doing it for your mother. It's about doing it for yourself. And the thing about healing is that sometimes it feels like a circle. Really, it's a spiral,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And I think that firstly, you're human. So the first time you try something, you're never going to be good at it. You're never going to be perfect at it.
Yeah.
That's impossible, right? If you're trying to learn a new language, you can't just say, okay, now I speak Spanish, right? It's practice and practice and practice. And they say 10,000 hours
Yeah.
is the amount of time that you learn something new, right? And so why would you think that in the first step of your journey of healing, you're going to be healed?
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do you get to that full circle moment of healing is you stack your repertoire with support. You stack your community with people that are here to support you and that see you and that are willing to be your cheerleaders, right? Whether that be like a talk therapist, whether that be a hypnotherapist, whether that be a doula, or someone that is going to help you. And this is the thing, not everyone has the means,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't either when I started out, right? I was just like, I was young. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So I started journaling, and I would start YouTube. I would go on YouTube and I would just listen to people all day long. And I started shifting when I started finding people that I really thought like, okay, this is going to shift my mindset, right?
Yeah.
And what really helped me was changing the narration in my head.
Yes. That is so huge.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge, because we don't realize that the voices in our head are actually not ours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They are people in our past experiences, our parents' fears, right? Other people's doubts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is something that we have really shifted away from also, because which is giving our power to people to help guide us and not
Yeah.
giving our power back to ourselves, to
Yes.
trust in that
Yes.
intuition, to trust in that inner knowing, in that inner voice, right? And yeah, someone that I listened to every single morning was Abraham Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
I love Esther Hicks. I love Abraham Hicks. I love the fact that the how do I say it? The advice that they give you is like so straight up, and it's like whatever you put in your vortex, you put it there.
Yeah.
No one else put
Yeah.
it there. You put it there. However long it's going to be in that vortex, however long that thought is going to circulate in your head, you're putting it there.
Yeah.
And it shifts things where you're like, whoa, why am I thinking of that? Or like, whose
Yes. Yeah.
voice is that? Right? Why would I doubt myself? Why do I feel this way? Why am I so anxious? Right? And it actually, from the trainings that I've gotten with hypnotherapy, I realized that all of these very important emotions, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, rage, right? All of those stem from the first 7 years of your life.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you hold on to those things, and then it's like a bag that you hold and you just keep adding to the bag, right? And then you're
Yeah.
carrying the bag, and then
Yeah.
you're dragging the bag, and then the bag is holding you back,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So how do you let go of the bag, right? And it's realizing that there's a bag in the first place.
That seems to be like 90% of it is just really understanding. And also just understanding that all of this stuff that we're dragging around, like I would say 99% of it is just has no bearing on anything.
Yeah.
And like that, I mean, for me was a really big realization. I was doing a workshop with my coach, and he had us write out, like, we were first doing like goal focused stuff, and we were writing out our goals and everything. And he said, okay, well, write out all the reasons that you think you can't do it.
Hmm.
And like all of these thoughts that come up when you think about your goal, like write them all down. And so I'm sitting there like on the Zoom call, madly scribbling down on my notepad, and I'm writing this stuff. I'm writing it out, and I look at it and I think like, this is all BS. Actually, like it's all, it felt so real 10 seconds ago. But when I look at it, it's like that none of that's actually real. It's
Yeah.
all just emotional baggage and
Yeah.
assumptions and things that we pick up over time. And so I really think, and when we had our pre-interview and we were talking, like I said to you that like I really felt like you've put down a lot of this stuff, because you told me about your the challenges in your upbringing and all that, and it's like you do not come across as somebody that's been like weighed down by trauma and loss. You don't have that energy about you. Like, I'm not trying to say they don't, they haven't had a significant impact. I know they have, but that you aren't making that the rocks that you stand on in your life, that you're
Yeah.
not.
My excuses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that that's huge because firstly, like losing my parents at a young age, at 6 years old, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Yeah.
I was so angry.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they leave me? That was the
Yeah.
question. Why would they do this? Why would they leave me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're like, you grow up and you realize they had no choice.
Yeah.
They didn't choose that, right? But I know now that they've never left me, that they're always with me,
Mm-hmm.
that they're always here guiding me and loving me from afar and, you know, listening to me when I speak to them. And I'm so blessed that I can be open to that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
even in like, in the astral realm. And one thing I did want to mention is that, a lot of people these days, I think that there used to be this stigma of being sensitive, of being emotional. And it
Yeah.
was you're so strong if you don't have emotions and you're so strong and you're so strong. And it's like for me and myself, I realize that my resilience is what makes me strong.
Mm-hmm.
My willingness to try again is what makes me strong. My, you know, my attitude of like, this is not the end for me,
Right.
right? Because
Yeah.
at one point I thought, I'm not going to make it to, 30. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to make it to
Mm-hmm.
25. Like, there's no way, right? I can't handle this. And then I would think about it and I'd be like, oh my God, like, why wouldn't I want to keep living?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I want to change my life and have a beautiful family of my own, or have success in a business, or be surrounded by amazing people and like women that support me and love me and I can support and love too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I have that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that was something that shifted within me that I was like, no, I have to keep going,
Mm-hmm.
right? These emotions that I feel that make me feel like, and this is another thing that I want to bring up, which is when you grow up and your parents aren't emotionally stable, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea of what's how to emotionally stabilize themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They will give you their nervous system,
That's true. Yep.
right? And so when they give you your nervous system, you don't realize like, oh, like this isn't normal, or, why, and then you start comparing. right? Oh,
Yeah.
why is this person so happy all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they get what they want all the time? And you're like, and then you see the shortcomings of yourself, and you're like, why can't I be happy all the time?
Yeah.
And this is where me starting to rewire this brain of mine and back to neuroplasticity, right? Because
Yeah.
we are able to change these things and we're able to shift this mindset, and only we can do it. No one else is going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is going to wake up in the morning and say, like, it's time to brush your teeth, time to brush your hair. Like, okay, let's go for a walk. Like, no one is going to do that for you. You have to do all of that for yourself. And that's where you have to have that inner strength to be able to do that, right? And so when your parents don't teach you those things and they give you this nervous system that they don't even understand, it's easy to blame them for sure,
Yeah.
right? And I think that one of the greatest things that I've learned through my coach is state management, right?
Right.
State management in the sense of showing up to adversity or having someone trigger you and not acting like you used to.
Yes.
Oof.
So how do you do that?
How do you do
Another
that?
$1 million question. How do
How do
you
you
do
do?
that?
I mean, yeah, that's what I wanted to know too, right? And it's like I think you have to understand that you have to place boundaries for yourself, within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that a lot of people are mirrors and they're reflections of you. And
Mm-hmm.
especially when they trigger you, you're like, oh, how could they do this or whatever? Like, or for example, like, how could they leave me out of this? And, I want to go too. You need to understand that, like, it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's not personal. This other person could be going through something. Um, they could just have a closer relationship than you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be so confident in yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to go take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is where tapping has greatly, greatly improved my life. And this is where hypnosis has greatly improved my life. And this is where prayer
Mm-hmm.
has greatly improved my life, right? Because I think that there is a higher being and we're here for a reason. We're not here for long. It's almost like a blip,
Yep.
you know? It's like it's nothing, right? And to you it's everything. And so why wouldn't you want to, I don't want to say perfect, but why wouldn't you want to create an environment for yourself where you feel safe, secure, and happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I talk about like the emotional state management, you have to like look at this adversity of someone triggering you and saying, I'm going to take a deep breath, or I know better now. Instead of getting triggered, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to step back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go drink a glass of cold water
Yeah.
and and then I'll come back, right? And like I think one of the biggest learnings from my family was like yelling, yelling, yelling all the time, yelling.
Yeah.
And it dysregulates your system for sure. And so how do you now step into conflict with someone that you potentially love and care for, or a coworker or whatever, and not yell,
Yes. I
right?
mean, that's a huge thing to have to shift. And I mean, and I think people are also kind of doing the reverse, that they just avoid conflict altogether.
Yes.
Like there's not only is there no yelling, there's no talking. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that emotional stonewalling,
Yes.
right? And I think that you're so correct, you're so right, which is like the raw emotion to like the closed off ice queen that you can be,
Yeah.
right? And how do you move past that? Boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
boundaries. And that's something that when I grew up in my family, that wasn't taught to me.
Yeah,
Because what I tell people is you can't teach something you don't know.
that's right. That's right.
You cannot teach something you don't know that you've never experienced. And boundaries are not to separate you from the other person. It's to actually say, I love you enough, I love me enough that I'm willing to move forward, but this is how I want to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like coming up to conflict and saying, okay, listen, I see your point of view and I want you to see my point of view, but we're not hearing each other right now.
Yep.
And so let's take a step back. And I think that was huge for my own relationship with my husband because when we first started dating, I was coming off of like an abusive relationship, abandonment wounds, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like in my full healing process of like, and that was like 2018. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I gotta change something, right? And when we got into conflict, I was the anxious and he was the avoidant,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
it I didn't understand because I was so used to having the blow up right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was really confused, right? And so I had to realize like, oh, like, okay, he needs a space. And I know if I give him his space, he's going to come back and he's going to have a calm discussion with me and we can both see each other's sides. And I think that was the light bulb shift for me,
Mm-hmm.
where I realized I love this person. I care about them. I obviously care about myself as well and I want to be heard, but this isn't the right time to talk about it. And I'm going to give them their space. And I know that by giving them their space, I'm actually creating space for them to come back to me and not pushing them away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that this is like something huge that a lot of people don't even realize is a potential for happening in postpartum.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, they don't realize that, for example, the man doesn't realize that the woman is hormonal right now and her hormones are just taking control and she doesn't even understand it
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't get it and she's just like why am I feeling like this, why do I feel like I'm crazy, and
Yeah.
you do feel crazy.
Yes.
You
Yes, you
do.
do.
And you're like, I've never been like this. I don't know why I'm crying all the time. I don't know
Yeah.
why I feel so anxious. And we can go on to a whole nother topic of birth trauma and how that affects your postpartum, but I won't go there yet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll save that for another day. But
Yeah.
that that really does affect your postpartum too. And this is where, as a partner, you're supposed to have that emotional state management for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to hold space for your partner in a time where they need that and be able to be like, it's okay because I know this isn't forever,
Yeah.
right? And I think we mentioned that, in our pre-interview that divorces happen usually in the first year of postpartum.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's unfortunately not a surprise because again, it's such a complete upheaval, especially if it's your first. It's just such a
Yeah.
complete upheaval. Yeah, my brother-in-law, he actually said something. I'm sure he doesn't remember saying this now because it was several years ago, but he said that having a baby pushes us to the edges of ourselves.
Yes.
And that was something that always stuck with me because he said that, I think he said that to me shortly after I had had my child. And
Oh,
I was going through it at that time.
yeah.
And it's so true. I think we go in, a lot of us anyway, go into parenthood thinking like, I have all these life experiences. I can't wait to share. I can't wait to teach my child all these things. But then you realize very, very fast that it's the children, the babies that are the teachers. And it's
Yeah.
up to us whether we want to learn the lessons and how we want to learn those lessons. And if we want to, you know, like we were talking about the growth mindset, do we want to grow with that or not? And like we have a choice
Yeah.
to make with it. And it's not easy.
It's extremely hard. It's
Uh,
extremely hard. And I think the emphasis is always on the woman transforming and reshaping herself because her mental health is different. Her body is different.
yes.
Her, she's sleep deprived. She has more responsibilities at home. She's got that running list in her head, right?
Mhm.
And then you think about the man and you're like, okay, like nothing's changed for you. But that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true. And
It's not.
I do feel like as a society, we could do a better job of supporting new families, period. But I feel like for a lot of new dads, especially since we don't have the same community village type environment that we had in the past, that there isn't there aren't the role models in the same way that there used to be. There aren't the opportunities to have the conversations with like other dads or grandparents or whatever to find out like, okay, my partner's going through X, Y, and Z right now, and I don't know how to handle it. Like there doesn't seem to be any space for dads to say that kind of stuff and to get the support that they need. And I
For
don't know
sure.
how we fix that because it's all like you were saying about, the father feeds the mother, mother feeds the baby. It's like, well, if the father's not being fed, then what happens?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think this can go back to that male loneliness epidemic that's going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the fact that our previous generations were taught crying equals bad and talking about your emotions equal bad. And
Yeah.
so there's these gaps that men in like friend groups, they don't have the opportunity to kind of be like, hey, like this is something that's going on, or like being vulnerable, right? And this is why I
Mm-hmm.
think that
Mm-hmm.
platforms like Reddit are huge,
Yep.
right? Because first of all, you can be anonymous.
Yes.
So now
Yeah.
you're free of your avatar
Yeah.
to ask these questions and say, this is what I'm struggling with. Who has gone through it before? And that's where you build that online community that that you feel safe with, right? And like it's hard these days, right? It's hard for men these days because it's hard for women too, right? Because we don't make that many like close friends anymore. We don't have
Yeah.
those points unless you're actively going out and trying to find these connections. It's not going to show up at your door,
Yep.
right? And it's the thing is that we have to keep cultivating these relationships to keep growing through these transitions of life.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
right, and that's where your community comes into, and you have to put in the effort.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's the whole thing. You have to put in the effort, not everybody else. No one's going to put in the effort for you.
Yeah. And I think too many of us, like, we'll just be, and not just in the postpartum period either, like, we'll just be kind of waiting for, well, I want my friends to call me so that we can go
Yeah.
out, that we wait for other people to initiate.
Yes.
And I think we can relate this back to just neuroplasticity as well, and just the baggage that we're given when we're young, that like we have these ideas of how society works and how friend groups and community supports are supposed to work. And a lot of the time it's like a very sort of passive model that we're not enough of us are taught, just go and start saying hi to people. go and
Yeah.
start going to the discussion groups, go to the community cookouts, whatever it is that's going on. Like, you're not going to have a fulfilling life just sitting at home. I
Totally.
mean, I'm a total introvert, so I wish we did have a fulfilling life sitting at home, but it's not it's not enough.
Oh, it's not enough.
Hmm.
And like, and this is a great point because as you grow older, you realize your partner is not supposed to be everything to you.
That's right. That's right.
Your partner is not supposed to be your therapist or your girlfriend or, you know,
Mhm.
whatever it is. They are their own selves and they also have to build their community around themselves to have different outlets because, firstly, it's like it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
It's way too much pressure,
Yeah.
right? And you don't have all the tools. You're not supposed to,
Yeah.
right? And this is where your close relationships are so important, right? And I think that this is an amazing topic to touch upon because sometimes what happens is you have a baby and they become your world and then
Mm-hmm.
they become your best friend
Mm-hmm.
and then it's almost like you put a lasso on them,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, but you're my friend, and they want to experience the world. They're new. They want to go and they want to learn and meet people, and you keep pulling them back in, right? And you're like, no, 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 and you're hindering their experience too,
That's true. Yeah.
and that's not fair, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
not fair to put that amount of pressure onto your child, right? And like this is where when you put so much emphasis on your child your relationship with your partner deteriorates. And when your child is ready to move on, you have to start all over again with your relationship.
Yeah.
And now there's another transition. Oh, now what do we do? It's just us two,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, now we have to get to know each other again because, like, we've had this distraction of our kid and soccer practice and all of these different things that, like, kept us busy. And now we don't have that.
Yeah.
So I think that there's so many different points of our life where we go through a metamorphosis.
Yes. Yes.
And this is back to that neuroplasticity of are you willing to go back into the cocoon and
Mm-hmm.
reemerge as a new butterfly? Are you willing to be a child, become an adult, become a wife, partner, whatever it is, because that's another shift, that's
Yep.
another change, right?
Yep.
Then to become a parent and then to experience so many different things in your life, potentially become like, a caregiver to your parents or their parents. That's another huge shift, right?
Yes.
And then now to have no responsibility from like your child moving on in their life and then realizing, oh, I still have years and years left to live.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I fill my time with? Right. And this is where a lot of people like they would go through their what's it called? Midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to buy a Porsche and I want to go skydiving. And I think that that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that is great because it's like a cracking of yourself to be like, what do I really want out of my life?
Yeah.
And where do I go from here? Right. And I
Yeah.
think that it's and this is where we can revert back to that comfort, back to that numbing.
Yeah.
I don't want to move forward. I'm just going to drink my beer in my garage. I don't want to move forward. I'm just going to watch, television.
Yeah.
And, I just no, no, no. I'm too tired. I don't want to do it. And this is the thing, life takes effort.
You know what? Like that is such a simple statement, but really quite profound.
Yeah,
That, yeah, it does take effort.
it
Um,
does.
and it takes showing up when we don't want to. I mean, for me, I'm just like kind of figuring this out in middle age. That's like, but I think people of every age are, have to kind of come to this on their own that, this isn't, I think it's something that parents can model for their children, but it's not something that you can directly teach. That, well,
Yeah,
I might be wrong,
100%.
but
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you. I agree because your parents are the people that show you what kind of life they're living.
Hmm.
And while watching them, you realize, I don't want that. or I
Yeah.
do want that,
Yeah.
or I love this part of them and I don't like this part of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you create this new version of life for yourself, right? And they're showing you like what to be afraid of and what not to be afraid of,
Yeah.
right? And I think that being adopted, my adopted mother, my she actually gave me so much insight because she was so brave. She
Mm-hmm.
was an entrepreneur. Both
Mm-hmm.
my adopted parents were entrepreneurs. Um, and but she was never afraid to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
Was never afraid to say, I'm gonna go back to school. She has
Right.
4 kids, she has a steady job. And she's like, no, I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna learn all these things. I'm gonna start a business. And guess what? It didn't work out. The
Okay.
business
Wow.
didn't take off.
Yeah.
And she said, that's okay. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna do something different. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna try again. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna try again. I'm gonna try again. And that is not something she taught us. She
Mm-hmm.
never said those words. She never gave us lessons. All I had was watching this woman try and try and try again.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me the confidence to do that as well.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's something that so many people are afraid of. They're like, the unknown. Oh my God, I don't want to go back to school. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go back. I don't want to be the oldest person there, or,
Mm-hmm.
like whatever, like limiting beliefs you put on yourself. Right.
Yeah.
I was never good in school before. Why would I be good now?
Yeah.
I don't want to take this new training at my job because what if I fail and then I have to pay for it? Someone recently said that to me, and I said, are you planning to fail?
That's a solid question.
Is that your
Yeah.
plan?
Yeah.
Right? And they said, no. I said, so why not try? Right? And you have to, that's the effort, back to the effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where when you do something new, you change something in your brain.
Yes.
The neurons fire,
Yeah.
right? And you open new neural pathways that say, okay, this is safe for me to try. Okay, let me keep going. Or,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I tried this and it didn't work. So let me pivot and shift. Right. And like that takes bravery, that takes effort, that takes, you know, your own self reflection and your own guidance system
Yeah.
to take you on that path to life to where you want to go, because it's so easy to say like, oh, whatever, I don't need to get a new job. I've been
Yeah.
at this job for 15 years. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
everything. I don't want to get new training. And this is where you miss out on these opportunities, because you miss out on growth. You miss
Yes.
out on potentially finding another purpose of your life, right? You miss out on potentially finding new friends or love connections. Um, you miss out on these things because you're so comfortable. And it's like there's no one to blame but you.
Yeah.
And
And
it's so
that's the
easy.
hard thing. That's the
Yeah,
hard thing to accept, but it's true. Yeah.
but it's easy, right? It's easy, and it's easy to say like, well, I don't want to do it, or I applied for one job and I got rejected, so I'm not going to apply anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's like this fear of rejection
Mm-hmm.
that holds us so tight.
Yes.
Oh, oh, ooh,
Yes.
ooh. This limiting belief of like I'm not good enough, right? And this comes back to that hypnosis, because these are the things that we try to go to the root of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm unlovable. I'm not good enough. Those are just two of the root causes that propel you into your life, and you don't even realize that this is like mentally coded into you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not good enough, so I'm not going to try for this new job. I'm unlovable, so I'm not going to approach this friend group and try to see if I can be friends. They're not going to like me. I'm not good enough, right? I'm not going to be smart enough for this. And it's crazy when you push past it and you break through those barriers and a new world opens up for you.
Yeah. And then you just have no idea, why did it take me so long to do this?
And it's that fear too, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the unknown. Like how I see it is like, why wouldn't I want to get more education? Because the years are going to pass anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The years are going to pass anyway. I'm going to learn different things. Like I want to know things that I don't know
Yeah.
because I know that there's so much. And I think that in that healing process, you get stuck and then you're like, "Oh, I've done everything that I can do and this is just who I am now."
Yeah.
And I think it's that curiosity, that just that little bit of curiosity that says, "What if?" That just
Yeah. Yeah.
shifts, right? And it's like, well, what if I did that? What if I could change that? What if maybe just maybe, I could let go of that old story. And maybe just maybe I can just let go of these bags that I'm holding and
Mm-hmm.
see what I can now receive. And I think a lot of people talk about like, manifesting online. I'm going to manifest my dream partner. I'm going to manifest my dream home, my dream car, whatever it is, right? Like, and then sometimes you realize when you manifest these things, you're like, oh, now what? And you don't get to enjoy the actual present moment. And you don't actually get to, because now your shift has shifted. I mean, so your focus has shifted to, okay, now what else? What else? What else?
Mm-hmm.
And that's that consumerism part of our society where we're just like, we need more and more and more and more and more. And I understand that. And I see that all the time because it's almost like we are designed to be competitive,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we see this other person and we want to compete with them. And I think that like when it comes to like relationships, that's the one thing you should never compete
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
That just deteriorates your relationship, right? And it's like, well, they did that for their partner. Like, why don't you do that for me? And they've already done 10 amazing things that that person's never done,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And they don't know. And it's like we need to put our phones down
Yes, we do. Yes.
and we need to get out of our house and we need to be willing to receive support.
And it can be a challenge to receive support, even when we really, really need it.
Oh,
Just like being
1000%.
being open to receiving support is like almost its own individual life skill, I would say.
And you know what's
Yeah.
so funny is that if you had a friend in need, wouldn't you want to help them?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want
Yep.
to drop everything and go and support that person?
Yep.
So when you are doing that, they're allowing you to support them. But when you are not allowing them to support you, you're not getting anything. You're not getting the reciprocity of life,
Yeah.
right? You're not supposed to do it all by yourself. And this is like such a huge challenge for women that I see all the time, which is no, no, I can do it by myself. I'll do it alone. Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it, right? And then
Yeah.
this resentment builds up of like, why do I always have to do this by myself? And it's like a control issue that brings you safety.
Yes.
You feel safe because you're in control.
Yep.
And life is not that serious, is what I remind myself. It's how do you get to your nervous system to a safe point that you get to manage your emotional state and then also have the bravery, the courage to do something different for yourself in the future.
I want to make sure, I'm just like kind of pivoting here, but like I want to make sure we get to talk about timeline therapy because
Yes.
that was a new term to me when we talked, and it sounds really powerful. And especially for those of us who have embarked on parenthood, to just have that reflection and bring that into how we show up for, like, whether it's our job or our kids, and just how we move forward. I think it sounds like I really just want to know more about it.
Yeah, I love timeline therapy. It was one of the things that shifted my life, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It was so radical for me, and it's using hypnosis, going into trance,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially separating, almost like not dissociating, but like just looking at your life from a vantage point, right? To separate yourself from the timeline and be like, oh, okay, like I see myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm floating above my life. Here is the beginning. Here is the end. I'm not at the end yet. I have no
Yeah.
idea what's going to happen. I'm in the middle. I'm in the present. And so the whole point of timeline therapy is that you go through all of these emotions, you clear all of these emotions, sadness, rage, guilt, fear, all of those things. And what you do is you actually go in the past first, because
Mm-hmm.
remember we talked about that 1 to 7 year time period of your life. That first
Yes.
seven
Yeah.
years is when you experience all of those emotions,
Mm-hmm.
guilt, right? And like when you trigger those things now, it's actually triggering it all the way back and back and back and back and back to the first time that you ever felt those things. And
Mm-hmm.
so what timeline therapy does is it puts you into a trance where you're able to see from your own eyes experiences that you've been through, and potentially like things that you don't even know. Like you're like they're like you ask a question like, when was the first time you ever experienced anger or sadness, for
Mm-hmm.
example? And you're like, oh, like I'm seeing like I'm in my mother's womb. And
Wow.
it's not even
Okay.
your sadness.
Yeah.
It's your mother's sadness.
Yeah.
That's the first time you experience that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you carry it in your DNA, and you move forward in life and you feel it and you feel it and it echoes like a drop in a lake, right? It just
Mm-hmm.
gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you use timeline therapy, you're able to go back to these first moments, to the root cause of these emotions, and you're able to almost not get rid of it, not remove it, but neutralize it.
Right.
So now you're seeing that traumatic event. You're now seeing that, like if, for example, if you're bullied or whatever, that experience through a neutral point of view. And you're like, oh, that's okay, right? And it's like when you realize that these emotions are triggered by this age, you also need to realize I'm not that age anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not 7. I'm not 3. I'm not having a tantrum,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like what we have realized now is that when you go through life and you go through a traumatic event, sometimes your body and mind get stuck in that age.
Yes.
So you're seeing all of these people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and they're really like 13,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Their mentality is like, I'm 13, or like I'm 16, or I'm 12, like, like, and you're like, how are you still like going about your day, right? But like with timeline therapy, it's so powerful in that you clear all of these things. You go through every single one of them until you don't feel anything anymore when you hear the trigger. And then now you have to learn something new. You have to replace that with the positive learnings.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you feel anger, but now what are you learning? Well, I'm learning that I'm lovable. I'm learning that I'm kind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning that, I'm safe. And so when you come back to this moment, you're like, oh, I feel so much better. And then what we do is now we project you into the future. We allow your mind to see into the future and say, are you feeling these emotions still? If nothing, if an old thing provoked you, are you still feeling that? No, I'm not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, then we go back and we clear it.
Right.
Right? And but then now you realize like, okay, I don't feel those same emotions. And this is something huge for me because I did this, and you think of it as like, you're like, this is so simple. This is so easy. There's no way this worked, right? And then you re-trigger yourself. Well, that's what I did. I tried to re-trigger myself. And something that in the past would re-trigger me into becoming so hyper emotional, I didn't feel that. I was neutral now.
Interesting.
And
Was
I
that a
was like,
surprise?
it was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
It was a surprise because I was like, whoa, I've never felt like this before. I never knew I could let go of this so
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of people are programmed to struggle,
Yes. Yes.
right? And to live in that struggle and to say, "Oh, it's so hard. It's going to be too hard." And then when you find these opportunities, these avenues for healing, it seems too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is where we have to shift our focus because it's not that it's easy. You did the work, you put in the time, you put in the effort, and it's not that it's easy in that moment. It's the part is that when you get re-triggered again, are you going to react the same way?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you now have a choice. And now you have a new memory, or now you have a new neural pathway to say, oh, no, I don't want to be re-triggered. Like I don't want to go back to the past. Like I did this work so that I don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it shifts everything.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I think that it's a part of these breakthroughs that you're willing to invest in yourself, that you're willing to research and find for yourself, that you're able to move past this because you're not coming into this like, oh yeah, like it's okay or whatever. You're struggling. You're
Mm-hmm.
hurting.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you can't move past and you're holding onto it so tightly and you want to let it go and you don't know how,
Yeah.
right? And so how do you get there, right? You have to find different avenues and everyone has something different that they want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
EMDR is huge,
Mm-hmm.
EMP tapping is huge, hypnosis is now gaining its popularity. Talk therapy is also huge. I did it. It didn't help me in the sense of moving forward. I just felt like I just kept rehashing things and I was like, how do I get past this? I don't want to keep rehashing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I found the same thing when I did talk therapy, that it was helpful to an extent in that it gave me a safe outlet to express myself. But
Yeah.
I just felt like, okay, I'm here once a week and I'm talking about my problems and I'm talking about my problems and I'm talking about my problems. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I still had problems.
Yeah.
And I really think it's fantastic that there are these tools that are becoming more well known and more available to people. And I think we were talking before about how these changes and this healing doesn't have to take years, that it can happen very quickly depending.
Yeah. It's all about
Mhm.
you. How long do you want to hold on to it for? Why are you holding on to it if you want to let go? Why are you dragging it with you through your life if you say you want to change, right? And this is where it comes back to like, you see these people and they're so happy and it's like, oh my God, yay, I'm healed. Oh, life is good and rainbows. And you see that on social media and you don't see the other parts,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you don't see the down, you don't see the shadow,
Yeah.
right? And for me, when I'm faced with my shadow, I say, okay, this is telling me something. This is
Mhm.
this is telling me I need to rest. I need to give myself a day or a week, depending on what the issue is, right? And then I know after that, I'm gonna move forward and I'm gonna get up again and I'm gonna do things in my routine and I'm gonna go for my walk and I'm gonna meditate and I'm gonna do my tapping and I'm going to choose something different to just keep trying. And like this is where like talks we talk about like, quitting smoking. And a lot of people can't quit smoking because they just keep trying and trying and trying and they don't know how to quit smoking. But when you are quitting something, you're taking something away, right? You're removing
Mhm.
it. So now
Mhm.
there's a space to be filled, but you're not filling that space with something. So potentially you remove smoking and you add drinking, or you remove
Right.
smoking and you add scrolling for hours.
Yep.
right? And so how do you not do that? How do you not like just laterally pivot? But what you do is now you fill that space with something positive, or you keep adding one positive thing so that eventually that negative thing is now on the back burner. It doesn't even like exist because you filled your cup with all of these other things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And so you're able to fill your cup. And so it's not like it's something that's being taken away. It's
Yeah.
just, it's just, there's just no space for it anymore.
I think this is a beautiful spot to segue into the little 3, 2, 1 rapid fire that I like to do at the end, because it's an
Yes.
opportunity to give people something to, fill those spaces, and
Yeah.
something that people can, you know, use tools, people to follow and all that. So it's 3 people that we should know about and follow,
Yep.
2 books that we should read, and 1 action step.
I would say my coach,
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Bolin. She is based out of the GTA. She does hypnosis, she trains people. She helped me so, so, so much. Another person that I love is Haley Hoffman Smith. You can find her on Instagram. She talks a lot about EFT tapping and manifesting and different things like that. And the last person that you should know about, that's a good one. I feel like the thing is that this person is very, very popular, and I feel like, it doesn't really matter because you should look to him to change that brain, right? Rewiring. And it's Joe Dispenza, who's
Uh-huh.
huge. I love Joe Dispenza. I listen to him all the time. And I think that he has so many great lessons that will be able to start your shift if that's what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's like an amazing place to start those 3 people.
That's fantastic. So 2 books.
2 books. Okay, first of all, The Alchemist.
You know
I
what? You're
love,
the second person to mention The Alchemist.
really.
Yeah.
I love The Alchemist. I read it every single year, not at the same time. Whenever I'm called to it, I read it every year and I learn a new lesson every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite, favorite, favorite books in the world. I think everyone should read it because it is a story, but you are learning so many lessons through it, and you realize that these are lessons that for years and years will hold true,
Yeah.
right? And another book that I love that guided me into neuroplasticity is The Brain That Changes Itself by
Oh, yeah.
Norman Deutsch.
Mm-hmm.
The Brain That Changes Itself. It has so many case studies in there. I think we spoke about this about the man that had a stroke and he relearned how to do everything after his
Mm-hmm.
stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was given an autopsy, they realized that half his brain was not working. It was dead. It was gray matter, and the 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 alive part of his brain rewired itself so that it could
Yeah.
rework his whole body.
Which is incredible. Like, it's incredible that we have this ability and we just walk around with it every day.
100%. And it's our job to tap into that, right?
Yeah.
And one takeaway you're saying?
1 action step.
And one action step.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one action step, I would say meditate, silence, be still, be in yourself, go back home.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah,
Well, I think we have so much still that we're going to have you back and talk again,
I
because
would
there's
love
like
that.
so many things that we haven't covered yet. But
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for your time today. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. And you can find me online at Breakthrough Doula Toronto. And I'm going to be starting my new business as well. And so, yeah, catch me online. I would love to connect.